Hello there, everybody. This is Tony, also known as TTBurger88, and welcome back to another episode of TTBurger Game Reviews. Today, I want to talk about the survival horror genre. The survival horror genre has been around since the early 90s, starting off with mainly on the PC with games like Alone in the Dark, which came out in 1992. Due to my age, however, I wasn't familiar with the survival horror genre until I got older. When I was 11, this was when I was first introduced to the genre. On Christmas Day of 1999, I received my very first survival horror game, and that is the game I'm going to review today. This game was also requested for me to review by a good buddy and subscriber of mine called Predator Brendan. And that game is Dino Crisis, which was developed and published by Capcom, which were known for making series such as Resident Evil, Mega Man, and Street Fighter. Dino Crisis was first released on the PlayStation in Japan on July 1st, 1999. It was then released on August 31st in North America the same year, and then in Europe on October 29th. 1 year later, on September 6, 2000 in Japan, the game was released on the Sega Dreamcast. Then on November 14th, the Dreamcast version was released in North America, and then December 22nd in Europe. There was also a PC version that was only released in North America and Europe, which was released first in North America on September 15, 2000, and then released on December 4th the same year in Europe. The story of Dino Crisis takes place in the year 2009, on the fictional Ibis Island, where 3 years ago, Dr. Edward Kirk perished in an accident during a course of an experiment codenamed Third Energy, which occurred soon after the government terminated the funding of the research. Earlier in 2009, a military agent named Tom of the Secret Operation Raid Team, also known as S.O.R.T, was sent to Ibis Island on a separate mission and brought back news that Dr. Kirk is alive and that he is continuing his research on Third Energy at a military experiment facility in the Borgia Republic. S.O.R.T then sends out 4 more agents on the mission to capture Dr. Kirk. The members are Regina, the main protagonist and sole female of the team, who is an intelligent agent and weapons expert. There is Gale, a veteran spy and leader of the group, who is known for having a cold demeanor and unfriendly attitude, who cares a lot about the mission. You have Rick, the third member of the team, who is also known for being an expert at computer hacking and is more easygoing than Gale. And finally, there is Cooper, who is the fourth member of the team, who is blown off course at the start of the mission and is eaten by a T-Rex and is declared MIA by the rest of the team. The story, in my opinion, is really good. It's very deep and it gets better later on in the game, and I wish there were more stories like this in more survival horror games. I give the story a perfect 10. Graphically, Dino Crisis is a great looking game. The character models look great and animate really well. The backgrounds also look nice with crisp lighting, and there are so many different looking backgrounds and they all look great and the lighting fits the backgrounds perfectly. The CG cutscenes also look great and still do to this day. And also the frame rate is very smooth with no dips or anything, running at a solid 30 frames per second. So the graphics in my opinion are excellent, making it one of the best looking games on the PlayStation. I give the graphics a perfect 10 as well. The sound in Dino Crisis is also really good. The music for the most part is great, with horror action tracks that fit the game really well for the most part. However though, there are some tracks in the game that sound a little too generic, but for the most part the music is great. The voice acting is the best part of the sound. The voice actors record their lines perfectly as if they are actually there in the story, as it's unfolding. Especially Stephanie Morgenstern, the Swiss-Canadian voice actress who voices Regina, and she does an amazing job.
A survivor!
Are you from the rescue team?
Yes, I am. Do you know where I can find Dr. Kirk?
Kirk? That fool! What's he plotting now?
What are you talking about?
Here. Take this.
What's this for?
I don't know. Told me extremely vital.
What's the emergency?
Gale just told me he saw someone on the underground monitor.
It flashed by pretty quick, but I'm sure I saw something. Rick, open the shutter to the underground area. What is it?
It's a distress signal from one of our team members. It must be Cooper.
Yeah, or it might be Tom. He infiltrated this facility posing as one of the researchers. Can you pinpoint the signal?
It's coming from outside of the building, to the east of the rear entrance we came in from.
Look, we'll deal with it later. Our first priority is the survivor in the underground. It could be the doc.
What are you talking about? He's asking for our help. We don't leave our own behind.
And what if it's a trap? Would you want one of us to come and rescue you?
Don't bother. I'm willing to take that risk.
Remember our mission. We're not here to babysit.
That's your way of operating, not mine. All right, you have your access to the underground, Gale, so get moving. You handle your things your way, I'll handle my things my way.
That punk is really starting to get on my nerves. Regina, I'm heading out to investigate the underground.
Other sound effects such as gunshots and footsteps also sound really well. In my opinion, the sound is excellent, and with the exception of some of the music tracks sounding generic, I give the sound a 9.5 out of 10. Gameplay in Dino Crisis is the best part. The game plays a lot like Resident Evil, with similar tank controls, which I am a fan of, along with various types of puzzles, camera angles, and more. The controls are very similar to Resident Evil, except the controls in this game are much smoother. Like in Resident Evil, you move with the D-pad. The square button lets you run, and in this game, it can also be the triangle button as well. To aim your weapon, you press the R1 button and you shoot with the X button, and when you press the L1 button, it changes your target. The circle button brings up your item menu, and I will talk more about the item menu later. While Dino Crisis plays like Resident Evil in many ways, there are some things that are different and things that are improved over Resident Evil. First off, the save system is much simpler and easier. Instead of finding typewriters and ink ribbons to save your progress, you have save rooms in the game that consist of their own song, and you save your game before exiting the room. Second, you can actually move and shoot at the same time, which is something Resident Evil didn't have. Third, you have two item slot menus, one for key items which never runs out of space, and one for ammo and health kits. You still have the problem of running out of space and such like how you could in Resident Evil, but this time you have emergency boxes scattered all throughout the facility that you can store or take items from. To use the emergency boxes, you need to find plugs throughout the game that are scattered in different rooms. Each box requires a different number of plugs. These act like your item boxes. Fourth, you can mix health items to make them stronger. I know Resident Evil did this with herbs and stuff, but it never did it with first aid sprays and such. Here in Dino Crisis, you can mix medkits with like recovery aids or so, and then turn them into something stronger. You can also make sleeping darts and such, and use them with other items. You also have resuscitation medicines that are your lifespan. That means if you die, you can go back to the room you died in and not have to worry about losing a lot of data and such. However, though, if you lose all your resuscitation medicines, you have 5 continues left, and you start back at the save point. Fourth, the load times are quicker and better because not only does it take not long at all to load every time you go into a new room, but it also tells you the name of the room you're about to enter. Fifth, instead of zombies, you have dinosaurs, like the name of the game implies. And there are so many different dinosaurs in this game, but the ones you'll see the most are velociraptors and therizinosaurus. Later in the game, you will find an ID card, which will come in handy for the rest of the game after you find it. The ID card can be used to gain access to certain parts of the facility. The card can be rewritten multiple times using the FC device, which is used to collect fingerprint data that can be uploaded to computers to rewrite the ID card. The ID card is also used to access the elevators in the facility. Each time the card is rewritten with a higher level, the more rooms you can access along with more floors in the elevator. During parts of the game, you will see the word danger appear on screen in certain situations. When this happens, you press the buttons on the controller repeatedly to avoid death. And it's funny, when this first happened to me, I didn't even know what to do until I read the guidebook. Because it said mash buttons, I didn't know what buttons it was talking about, but it says mash any buttons on the controller. During the game, you will be given a choice selection of two strategies between Gale and Rick, and whichever one you choose affects which ending you get. There are a total of 3 endings in the game, and I think this was a good feature to have in Dino Crisis because it gives you more replay value. When you beat the game, you can unlock extra costumes for Regina, along with a grenade gun with infinite ammo, which is unlocked after getting every ending. You will unlock the minigame Operation Wipeout after you beat the game for the first time. This is a timed game mode where you fight a certain number of dinosaurs in a certain amount of time, with limited ammo. So all in all, the gameplay is excellent, and those who are fans of survival horror and action games, and fans of games like Resident Evil, will definitely enjoy it. I will be giving the gameplay another perfect 10. So in conclusion, Dino Crisis is definitely a must-buy game for the PlayStation, and those of you who enjoy survival horror and action games will feel right at home with this one. I give the game a 9.5 out of 10 because of some of the music tracks being generic, but this is something that can definitely be overlooked and will still make the game enjoyable. And that's pretty much all I gotta say about this. This is Tony, also known as TTBurger88. Thanks for watching, peace out, and have a great day.